Welcome to this edition of the LucidQuest Hematology Strategic Roundup, covering developments from June 8 through July 10, 2026. The defining story of this reporting period was the convergence of therapeutic innovation with lower burden treatment delivery across malignant and non-malignant hematology. The market is evolving beyond competition based primarily on efficacy. Administration burden, treatment setting, sequencing flexibility, and the ability to extend mechanisms across related diseases are becoming increasingly important to clinical adoption and commercial differentiation. 4 themes stood out. The first theme was the growing strategic value of treatment convenience. Pfizer expanded access to once-weekly subcutaneous Hypam-Vazi, while Pharma Essentia introduced a self-injection pen for Besremi, and Sanofi added subcutaneous and on-body delivery options for Sarclisa. Together, these developments show that delivery innovation is becoming part of the product's core value proposition, rather than a supporting feature. For executives, the opportunity extends beyond patient preference. Simpler administration may improve adherence, reduce infusion center demand, and strengthen the lifecycle value of established therapies. However, commercial impact remains uncertain. Uptake will depend on reimbursement, provider workflows, patient confidence, and evidence that convenience produces measurable improvements in persistence or resource use. A second major theme was the challenge to established treatment sequencing. Lilly's positive European opinion for Jaypirca could expand the non-covalent BTK inhibitor across all lines of chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Roche's filing for subcutaneous Lunsumio plus Polivy could also bring an outpatient-ready regimen into earlier relapsed or refractory large B-cell lymphoma. These moves provide access to larger patient populations, but they also raise the competitive evidence threshold. Clinicians will consider durability, toxicity, treatment duration, and future sequencing options alongside response. Longer-term outcomes remain important, as does the positioning of outpatient bispecific therapy relative to CAR-T treatment, and the willingness to use non-covalent BTK inhibition before covalent options. The third theme was the use of rare blood disorders to build broader hematology franchises. Incyte acquired the Phase 3 von Willebrand disease asset VGA039. Agios advanced mitapivat into sickle cell disease, and Cogent continued expanding selective KIT inhibition across multiple disorders. This platform approach may create leverage across specialist commercial teams, medical affairs, and patient-finding infrastructure. It may also increase the value of differentiated mechanisms across biologically related populations. However, each indication must still demonstrate its own clinical, regulatory, and commercial viability, and the economics of serving small populations could limit expected synergies. The final theme involved the shift from regulatory momentum to launch execution. With approvals, priority reviews, and submissions clustering during the period, differentiation will increasingly depend on market access, provider education, patient identification, and real-world evidence. Regulatory success alone will not ensure adoption, particularly where new delivery formats introduce reimbursement or operational complexity. Looking ahead, we will be watching decisions for Jaypirca, mitapivat, and bezuclastinib, as well as the positioning of Lunsumio plus Polivy within lymphoma sequencing. We will also monitor early uptake of the new administration options and VGA039's Phase 3 progress. The key takeaway is that hematology's next competitive phase will favor therapies that translate clinical innovation into practical improvements in access, workflow, and treatment flexibility. Thank you for joining this edition of the LucidQuest Strategic Roundup. For more healthcare market intelligence and strategic analysis, visit www.lucidquest.com.